Welcome to the Diablo 3 podcast. We are online at DiabloIncGamers.com. I am the host of the show, Flux, and I'm joined on the show tonight by Wolfpaq and by Muggs.
Hello.
And we are going to talk about Season 2, the first week of it, and the Season 3 preview, and we have petty gripes and grievances and party issues, and we're going to wonder why every single monk has died at least once so far, and 6-piece set stuffs. But first off, since this is the night of the Academy Awards, we're going to do our annual Oscar preview on the Diablo 3 podcast. Any frontrunners for you guys have picked this year? Oh, wait, no one cares. If I had asked you 5 minutes ago, did you know the Oscars were on tonight, would you have said yes?
Yes, my wife's actually watching them upstairs. That's why I'm downstairs.
5 minutes ago, no. I would have known 15 minutes ago, no. My buddy just messaged me and asked me if I was watching. And I was like...
Yeah, I didn't actually even know they were on.
Yeah.
I was just for a minute ago, I texted Ellie something just like 10 minutes ago about the podcast stuff, and she's like, aren't you watching the Oscars? I'm like, the what? Are those on again this year? Didn't we have an award ceremony last year for movies no one saw?
Yes.
We get it again this year? I mean, every year?
Yeah, you got to get them all the time.
But no one cares, though.
I miss Ellie. When is she going to be back on the podcast?
When hell phrases over.
Oh, of course.
Oh, too row. I don't know. She hasn't been playing much lately, so I think she doesn't feel she would be competent to talk about, T6 Greater Rift planning or whatever. I realize T6 is not part of a Greater Rift. I'm sounding like a total noob if I even say that, but Yeah, I was in like T11.5 earlier, and like
MP10. I was running some MP10s.
Yeah, the Natalia Rift thing, and like I had the 9-piece set. It was awesome, and I was totally kicking ass with that. It's like a secret strategy. I can't tell you about it. But if you watch my stream though and give me money, then I'll show you it.
Nice.
Okay, we're digressing. Okay, so first topic, Season 2, Week 1. We did a podcast last weekend when I was sadly a spectator. I had to work all weekend and was unable. I think I was not Paragon level 20 after the end of the first weekend. You guys both zoomed up there, and Wolfpaq, you were on our preview Season 2 podcast, but not the first one. And as far as I saw, you were the first fastest guy in our clan out of 80 or 90 people that were active that night, I think, to get to Paragon 1, I guess, to get to level 70. And you played a new barbarian that you had never played the class before, like ever, or since D3V or something.
Yeah, not since vanilla.
And you were still the fastest. So did you feel you needed a handicap? You were the fastest one in the previous season, at least of all our podcast guests. And you felt, if I play a class I actually know how to play, it'll be much too easy. So I'll play a class I just kind of don't know how to play, and that'll give people a sporting chance. And then you still won. Is that how it worked out?
No, I was just... The barbarian sounded like a lot of fun. I was reading about the Raycor set, and I really wanted to try it, so that was my decision process.
But you were very, very fast. What was your strategy?
I had a constant 4-person group, a couple of real-life buddies, and then a random guy, I think Slobs from the guild, or the clan. And we just stuck together, and we did bounties for like the first 30 levels, and then we mixed it up with some rifts. We took a break around level 45 to craft some level 60 level reduced items. So,
or to try to anyway.
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 of us were successful, and then the other guy kept going. We were like, screw it, we'll just carry you for the next 15 levels, and so we did, and it was fine. At that point, since we had super good weapons and we just needed density, we moved to Halls 3 for 45 through 60, and then we just did bounty set 1 rift from 60 to 70. It was just a lot of fun. I don't know if it was completely optimized, but I think having all 4 of us together the entire time and all like with a plan and ready to go, and no one was... I think Slobs might have taken 1 smoke break or something, but other than that, everyone was focused. So it actually took me a little bit longer than last season, by like 10 minutes or something.
So what was the total time though? Like 6 hours?
Yeah, just under 6 hours.
And how was your Season 1 weekend rush, Mugs? Did you jump in there?
You mean Season 2?
Yeah, that whatever. I'm not good with numbers.
No, I took my time. It was, Valentine's weekend, and I've got...
So you're level 68 right now. You're almost there, though.
Well, no, I mean, I finally got there. I've actually lost a monk and leveled another monk in that amount of time, but I just took my time over the weekend. I did a little bit on Saturday. I didn't play at all on Friday. I did a little bit on Sunday, and then Monday I took off work and knocked it all out and got myself all caught up.
So I didn't get to play much anyway. I finally got some time this week and played and got up to P70, and then it took me forever to get to my. I was stuck on 4 pieces of Marauder set for like a week and a half. Okay, not that long, from like P80 to like P160, and I had a Rorg sitting there, so I just I either needed boots or helm, and I could start kicking ass, and just could not get them. I mean, I gambled, just oceans of shards, and then of course I finally got boots, and like a level later I got a helm and another pair of boots. They just wait until you get them. Jay's back there, hiding behind the server, just laughing at me. Will send. But then since I got to once you get the full M6 set, you can just start blasting on T6, so that's pretty fun. But so it was. What have you guys done all week? I mean, you just said you had a horrible monk death already, Muggs. You and everyone else in the clan apparently.
My goal was just to try to start pushing, right? I just wanted to start pushing as far and fast as I could. I did a G30 and I did it in 6 minutes, so I'm like, well, let me just do a G32, and I was actually cruising along really well, and the lag monster got me. So it was just all of a sudden the screen was not responsive, nothing was responsive, and I died. So I re-leveled a monk and I pushed back to G32, and now I'm just waiting for the relic token to drop for one of the followers so I can actually run double unity and maybe try to get the G35. I think there's an achievement for G35.
Yeah, one of the conquests.
Yeah. So I mean, I have the damage and I'm completely set up for it. I refuse to do it without double unity or the token. I mean, I have the double unity. I just don't have the token.
You haven't gotten the token for any of your any kind of follower, or you want one special one?
No, any of the follower. I
have like 7 of those things.
Yeah, you and everybody else. It's like
I haven't gotten a Templar one though. I have 4 of the stupid letter openers for the Scoundrel. All I'm using is the Templar, and I got 4
I would take a
Scoundrel.
Classes. I would take. It's one of those things where they.
Well, we can just trade it later. Oh wait.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, it's one of those things where they're always like, you can use Kadala to make up for the gear that you're missing, and the gear that I'm missing is a token, and I can use Kadala to get a token. So it drives me nuts. That's all I would.
So how was your first week of Barbarian there, Wolfpaq? Have you regretted it and wish you played a real class by now?
No, the Barb is actually partially regret it. I got the Rakers set, and I'm actually running a hybrid Rakers Immortal King set so that I can have my Barbs permanently out acting like a Unity ring, since they just the Ancients absorb half the damage you take, which is awesome. But I can't stand how little single target damage the Raker's Charge Barb does. And I know that if you get some cooldown reduction and take the talent that reduces the cooldown of Ancients and then use a proper Ancients rune, you can get decent single target damage. But I just got fed up of sitting there with worthless Frenzy on the Rift boss. So I hit level 30 Rift without the double unity, and then I did get double unity. I actually didn't have any unities drop. My buddy had 4 drop in the first 5 days, so he gave me 2 of them since he's a nice guy. But yeah, I have no desire to push higher, greater rifts when my barbarian is going to be sitting there like an idiot for 5 minutes beating on the rift boss. So I made a demon hunter the last 3 or 4 days.
The eternal Diablo 3 solution to rift problems: make a demon hunter.
That's right.
So now she's in GR45 and you're bored already, right?
No, she just got the minimum gear I wanted, and so I'm taking it slow because my barbarian. The nice thing about barbarian is even though you don't have that failsafe, he's almost never. I haven't had even a single close call that Ignore Pain wasn't able to solve for me. So, although like I said, GR30 is the highest I've gone, so it could be that I'm not pushing myself enough. But my Demon Hunter has already procced twice in T6, so I was like, okay, I need to get used to playing with a more fragile class. That 30% damage reduction is huge.
At least you've got a life-saving passive, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Unlike the Barb, so.
Yep. Oh, and my Barb, I put the Esoteric Alteration gem on
That's
him.
a good gem. I like that one.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I really like it.
I've seen a lot of people using the Wildebeest one, so Esoteric instead of that, huh?
Well, I use both.
Well, no wonder you're not dead. So the Esoteric one is the huge resistance, right?
Yeah, and it stacks so nicely with Superstition, which is all non-physical damage reduced by 20% for the Barbarian, and then my Esoteric is all non-physical and additional 25% right now. So, which is what scares me the most is non-physical attacks. So
it's almost like you're an intelligence class where you just have a free 2,000 resistance to all.
Yeah, yep, pretty much.
And are there any dangerous physical attacks? I mean, I guess like a charging beast or something. You know?
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't even exist
If you
anymore.
actually get into the middle of a pack, they can do a lot of damage to you really quickly. Even like zombies, where you're like they're not very strong. If you get in the middle of them and they start hitting on you, you'll go down really quick.
That's true, but usually when I'm in the middle of a pack, the entire pack is frozen thanks to Raker's
Oh,
charge. So, yeah, no, but you're right. If I ran out of Raker's charges and I was in the middle, which has happened a couple times, I was in a scary place. But since my Fury is always full, I can just hit ignore pain, and every time I shout, I get 120k health, and they usually, between the extra 50% damage reduction and 120k health every second, they're not able to take me down through that, usually. I mean, so far.
And you've only done GR30. I was doing GR33 this morning with my Demon Hunter and procced like 3 times in the same rift. I'm like, okay, this is a little scary without double unity.
Oh my gosh. That is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one right at the start. I'd done 30 and 31 and 32. I had no problem. I was doing it with like 8 minutes to spare. But then 33, just the damage was kind of going up enough. I got kind of a bad rift too. I got the the town of Act 5 where it's like there's like no density.
Oh.
And I still almost finished it. I had to wait out 2 of the procs. I went to town and just sat there for 40 seconds twice just to, I'm like, okay, I'm not dying here just to try to get this. And then I was actually on the boss when the timer ran out. So I was probably 15 seconds from finishing it anyway. But I'm sure I could get up to 35 if I pushed it. But, pushing is where you die. So I'm really trying to get a second Unity. Well, that'll be easy then. But the funny thing I was going to ask you guys about, are you feeling like, early in the season, it's kind of fun to see yourself on the leaderboards? I mean, I think I was 340 something when I did 33 earlier. On the overall top 1,000 Demon Hunters and Hardcore on the whole server. And you get that little pop-up, like, oh, that's kind of cool, to see the bonus thing.
Yeah, that's neat.
And I was the top in our clan for a little bit, and then Cornkills, who plays a lot, or at least used to play a lot, I haven't seen him much lately. And like yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I was at like P170, he was at like P160 with a Demon Hunter. And then I got on, like, I didn't play much yesterday, I got on today, he was at like P355.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he's
okay,
insane.
there went that.
Yeah, he's insane.
And suddenly he's up to GR35. I'm like, wait a minute, he went up 200 Paragon levels since I last played. And now he's 6 Paragon levels ahead of me, or 6 greater rift ahead of me. I'm like, I think I'll settle for second place now. But just a while, some guy just hits like the turbo boost and just spends all weekend playing, and it's like, well, I'm in second place now. But I do want to get to that GR35 thing that you were mentioning. To get that conquest.
I think it's actually kind of going to be easy, especially with ancient items and ancient weapons. It's you get double unity, and it's really not a difficult process.
I mean, long term it's easy, but I would like to get it. I think it's only the first 1,000 to get the conquest, which already might be done for all I know in hardcore this year. But
I don't think so. The last I checked, there wasn't that many people in hardcore that pushed it. There might be now, but I didn't think there was 1,000.
Yeah, I think there were only like 150 Demon Hunters that were over 35 last time I looked. But that was like a day and a half ago, so it could be another 50 by now. But yeah, if I got double unity, I could do 35 effortlessly. I mean, as you were saying with your monk, it's just once you have that extra 50% damage reduction, it's like, okay, no problem. Because you can get the offense, it's just death.
Right, exactly.
Death.
It's just. I mean, I did a 32, and I look at my progress bar from the death shot, and I would have finished that with 8 minutes to spare, 10 minutes to spare. But once you're dead, you're dead. So.
And a lot of it depends on the spawn. If you get some nice,
I don't think it really made much of a difference. I was doing so much damage; it was just ridiculous.
So I had one question about the barbarian. You were mentioning your single target damage sucks there, Wolfpaq.
Yeah.
And the one reason I was thinking about doing a barb is I always loved frenzy, and now they have that belt that makes double frenzy. Every rune effect at once with frenzy.
Yeah.
Do you have that? And would it make any difference if you did?
I do have that.
And it's still useless.
I mean, I wanted my ancients out, taking half my damage, and so I needed to use the IK belt. For a while, I was running. So there's a legendary two-handed what's it called, mighty weapon that doubles the stacks of frenzy you can get.
Yeah, you get 10 stacks with that, which sounds awesome.
Yeah, and so I had that. I had the belt, and I had those pants that double your primary generators, and it was a lot of fun. But I just don't think it's nearly as effective as the. Because you need to be able to do some AoE damage to handle greater rifts.
You don't think those little axes you throw every now and then are not do enough?
No, because it's just like 300% weapon damage or something. Versus,
but like every 5th hit, you throw one little tiny axe. You don't think that's as good as being able to fill the entire screen with 10,000% damage every second, like a Demon Hunter?
Yeah, I don't think it's.
No, that's too bad. I thought maybe that little hatchet he throws would come through.
I don't think it's comparable.
Damn. Well. Maybe you're just not doing it right. You consider you're not doing it right, maybe?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah, my little frenzy hopes and dreams have died once again before they weren't even born. So we're gonna get. I guess we could jump to we're gonna have to do our whole quality of life gripes and minor complaints and stuff in a minute here. Let's get into the season 3 preview that the Blizzard posted here. And there's really only a couple of major things. Stash for cash is obviously the big one. And I don't know if you guys saw. I posted news today. A guy from one of our longtime readers from Hong Kong mailed me and said, actually, that's only going on in China. It's not the entire Asian realm. It's just Diablo 3 in China, is what according to what he read on forum posts. And of course, China has like its own special version of BattleNet and stuff, where you can't like get out of it because otherwise you would smell the clean air of freedom and democracy. And so they're not allowed. So China is not on the same servers as Korea or Japan or whatever. So apparently that's not even in Korea or Japan. It's just in China. All that said, everybody wants more stash space, and people were like, "I would pay $20 to double my stash tabs." Would you guys pay for more stash space? Do you want that? Should it be in the game?
I would. I would completely do it. I mean,
How much would you pay $5 per page?
no, I wouldn't pay $5 per page.
$3 per page.
Yeah, maybe $2, $2 to $3 a page. I would consider maybe $2 a page. I mean, that would be
Quantity discount.
yeah, and if maybe you bought like the next 10 pages, you get a discount. I would definitely do it. I'm a hoarder though, and especially when you play hardcore, like all of us do, it's not just having the best gear; it's having the best gear and then having a backup version of all the best gear. So when you die, you can reset yourself.
Yeah, I was noticing today my stash is almost full. I mean, like, obviously I can be a little less picky about some of the stuff I save. But I mean, I've played basically one class, and I'm P200, and my stash is already full. It's like, well, there are 5 more classes to go. Would you stash for cash, Wolfpaq?
No,
Would you trade a chinchilla for 5 more stash tabs?
definitely not. My stash is nowhere near full. I've got 2 completely empty tabs and half of another one, and I'm Paragon level 330 with 2 classes max.
You're so efficient.
What do
You're
you do
just
when
planning
you
on
die?
never dying, so you don't need any spare stuff?
No,
Yeah,
I mean, so okay, let's look at this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of gear that require 10 because I missed the belt. Wait, let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I thought I was bad with numbers.
Yeah, so 10 pieces of gear that take 2 spaces, right? And then you have 3 pieces of jewelry. So that's 23 stash spaces, and each tab is, let's see. Am I counting
Muggs
this
is
right?
like, I hate you so much right now. So some bugs, you only save one extra piece
No,
for
I
every one
say
of your slots.
that's
right?
it. That's just the thing.
There's no variety. You don't have any extra stuff at all.
That's just it.
So
It's
you're
like if
putting-
I want to go, like right now, I'm doing a Tempest Rush build on the Monk, which is really great. But I've also got a bunch of gear that I want to hold over in case I want to do a CDR and support the group, or if I want to play, So I have all those pieces of gear, and then you have like, the 2 rows of legendary gems that take up a ton of space, and then you have all the crafting mats. I don't know. I keep a ton of crafting mats, so I keep, that's like 1 tab, and then it's like, oh, well, this amulet would work really good if, I want to try out this build. Plus, I need to keep an extra one in case I die. So it's like, everything I have 2 of, pretty much.
Okay, so why is he wrong, Wolfpack?
I don't know if you're wrong. It's just so based on my calculations, each tab is 70 spots, and there's 20.
I haven't used all my tabs yet in seasons. I'm not even close. I've only used 3.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. We're about the same then.
Yeah, I've used 3 tabs, but I'm not saying like when I look at my non-seasons, and the fact that in my non-seasons I've used all the tabs plus I have 3 mules, then I'm like, yeah, I could probably use some more stash space.
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna lose all of those items from season 1. I haven't even gone through them yet, except for the gems.
Yeah, all my preseason stuff was garbage. I kept almost all the season 1 stuff, and everything I had from before that I just threw away, or I just salvaged it down. But yeah, I could use more space. I don't think I'd pay. I don't know if I'd pay for more, but I'd probably think about it. I think I still have some balance left on my real money auction house. I mean, or did it all expire a year ago because I never took it out? Like I had some money left over on that from forever ago, but anyway. So other thing on the season 3 preview was the 6-piece sets. They've been saying that forever. Obviously, we're getting 3 whole new sets, and I can't wait for the Demon Hunter set to do something other than Bombardiers for a while. Bombardier Sentry would be nice to get away from, even though it's much more fun than it used to be. But there's also the cool other set for the Barb. Okay, the Barb one kind of sucked, really. I thought at BlizzCon, but the Wizard set was awesome. And then they're going to fix up a bunch of the older sets and make more cool stuff. And we had a whole debate a couple of weeks ago. People were saying, should 6-piece sets be where it's at? Like, do you guys like the whole point of obviously you've kind of doing two 4-piece sets at the moment, Wolfpaq. But many of the builds, with your Demon Hunter, you certainly saw once you get 6-piece of Marauders, it makes a gigantic difference.
Well, Rakers is pretty special because it's actually a 5-piece set. It goes 2-piece bonus, 4-piece bonus, 5-piece bonus, which gives you the flexibility to mix in another. In my case, I'm mixing in a 4-piece set for the Immortal King to have my ancients out all the time.
Well, lucky you. And you're stuck at GR30 though, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, just in terms of general how you want to play the game, do you like having, they're going to add more pieces to the old sets, and like Natalia's going to be a 6-piece, and Zunimasa's and all those other ones are going to become, in theory, roughly as good as the current 6-piece sets that most people immediately go for, unless they're Wolfpaq because he's special.
Well, no. So I would
Monks
really
do the same thing. I'm running 2 4-piece sets.
nice.
Yeah, well, you have the one Enya set. Yeah, but see, Enya's probably going to become a 6-piece set and have some big awesome bonus though, right?
Right. Well, I run Inna's 4-piece, and then I run SWK 4-piece. So 3.
Which is the one 4-piece set in the game that's any good.
Right.
So you guys are skewing the curve here. But I mean, for every wizard or every demon hunter, generally they're pretty much Crusaders are the same
too,
thing.
Yeah. Satyrs.
I wish they would move the powerful bonuses into the 4-piece slot, and then have like the sort of optional ones as the 6-piece, or I don't know, because it's more fun to mix and match. I really like that. So when I do want to keep 5-piece Rakers, but I'm going to be able to replace 2 of the primary. The 6-piece sets are generally gloves, shoulders, helm, chest, pants, boots. It would be great if 2 of those slots were free to mix and match with legendary pieces. But for like you said, only for really barbs and monks are multiple of those pieces free, and it would be nice if it was available for other people, because there are pretty awesome legendaries that you'd want to put in those slots. Like I remember when I was playing a wizard in the past season, I was stuck trying to fit a 5-piece Firebirds on me while there was all this other stuff I wanted to use, like the Hexing Pants of Mr. Yan, or the helm that doubled the gem, Leoric's crown, or
Leoric's is great.
Yeah.
At least the wizard, there's 7 pieces
Well,
of the set, so you have the orb, a little bit of option there.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. If they're going to go 6-piece on everything, then why not give us like 6 of 8? So say you have to complete 6 of 8. So it gives us the option, okay, you can kind of maybe move and, maybe use an amulet in an offhand, or maybe use a weapon. So if I want to use Leoric's crown, which is like a great helm, or if I want to use like some cool belt or witching hour or something else like that, I'm not like stuck where I'm like, okay, I have to use this belt. Now at least
belt's the one thing we have an option, because I guess
or
the old
boots.
6 sets, get IK and stuff has belts.
Well, or boots, or anything along those lines. I would rather have, if they want the 6-piece, if they're like, hey, we have to have 6 pieces, this is the direction we want to go, then give us like 6 of 7, like Firebirds, or 6 of 8, and then so we have the option to like, hey, I could run these gloves if I really wanted to, or I could run a Cinder Coat if I really wanted to, or Mage Fist, or Frostburns, or something else that's like would be cool to like, add into the set without like completely, gimping yourself.
Yeah, I think that's nice that's kind of what the complaint people often have is you've got to use at least 5 of these items with the Ring of Royal Grandeur, and that that basically means you can only substitute one of your items. So you can't do pants and you can't do chest at the same time, and shoulders or whatever. I mean, there aren't really that many variety of shoulders, but you look how like everybody doing a fire demon hunter build is going to go with Cinder Coat. I mean, pretty much every class is going to go with Cinder Coat because it's such a ridiculously powerful item. Or else everyone doing a cold demon hunter now goes with Pride's Fall in the helm slot, and it's like you end up with very little variety. And like you guys are saying, if we had 7 or 8 or 9 items in the sets and you only needed 5 of them, but then maybe that's too easy, and it's like everyone would just find some other cookie cutter thing where now everyone has to have these gloves and everyone has to have these pants.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to always find the
stack
cookie
on with the
cutter,
set.
but I mean, it gives you an option too. I mean, it also makes it easier to complete the sets. So you're not always trying to. If they're saying that, hey, we're going to add all these new legendaries that have like unique aspects, and we're going to try to add stuff so people aren't always wearing Sages and Unities and Rajas in the ring slots, then it's like, well, give us something else to put in there. Give us something unique. Give us a way that, hey, well, maybe you didn't think of this. They just need to give us more that we can play with. Right now, we just don't have a lot to play with.
One of the things, actually, I was reading about the barbarians who are having trouble with single target damage is to wear a Bull Kathos ring, which apparently leeches a significant amount of damage from the Rift Guardians because they have so much health, and it's a percentage of their health. up to a certain point. So there is that, but I mean that's a pretty lame option because then you have to give up either your Stone of Jordan or your Unity or your Ring of Royal Grandeur.
Your Roger, your Saj.
Okay, your Roger, Saj, or your Unity.
Yep.
We had a whole debate a few months ago. Rush was on the podcast. He kept calling it Ross. Reaper of Souls is called Ross, and we had this debate in this forums the next day. Is it okay to call it? I mean, obviously, there's another Blizzard game, and everyone just calls it WoW, even though in theory it's WOW, which I've never ever heard anybody say in my life.
Yeah.
Everyone says WoW, so I'm not sure why some games it seems fine and some games it doesn't. Like I've never called it Ross. I always call it ROS, but I always call it WoW, not WOW. So who knows? But whichever the case is, I'm sure you were just wrong, Muggs, and I think people will probably condemn you for it.
It's a Raj.
So one other thing on the Season 3 preview, adventure mode buffs, one thing they mentioned, they were going to put in like exploration bounties and a bunch of new bounties. And I've forever wanted like bounties to be a little more competitive in terms of, once you gear up, you never do bounties again unless you want to Ring of Royal Grandeur, or as Mugg says, a Soj. Is that what you call it? No, of course not. And so do you guys want more competitive stuff? What if bounties could give you if you do bounties in a whole act and you get like 7 blood shards, you're like, ooh, 7.
Yeah.
I can gamble 1/15 of an amulet now. It's like it's kind of a break your balls thing compared to you can do a whole T6 rift in 5 minutes and you get 100 blood shards. Do you want more rewards from bounties? Should bounties be exploration? Do you even care? Do you just want to do rifts?
I don't care. I just want to do rifts, honestly.
Yep,
I actually I would love to have rifts give me the grift option and just give me all the loot that drops in the rift at the end so I don't have to pick anything up until I reach the end. So, no, I don't care at all.
What do you think, Wolfpaq? Are you a bad person also?
No, I'm excited about variety from the bounties because I've been doing tons of bounties as I try to get Royal Grandeur a decent roll for 2 different people, and it's so boring. So I'm like an exploration bounty and new bounties are adding that. I think that's great. But as for making them like competitive with rifts for endgame gearing, I don't think they need to do that. But the variety is nice. The increase in variety is nice.
Well, I don't think they should be better than rifts, but at least a little bit more. I mean, sometimes I just get tired of doing rifts. I would like to explore some different areas. Well,
if you read
I did a whole bunch of runs. I did a whole bunch of keyword runs on Saturday with 2 other guys in the clan. And we did, we just did, new games and did all 4 in each game. We'd split up and run around until we found the keyword. And we'd say, come to me, and we'd all run to the same guy and get the keys.
Yeah.
And then we made 3 Hellfire Ambulance, and they were all completely horrible. But
Yep.
But it was kind of fun just seeing different parts of the game, even though it's not that different. It's like, oh, I haven't been in this level in a while, And some guy one of the things that people are doing a lot at the clan now is, you do Act 1 T6, and then you say, hey, who wants the cash? And everybody joins in before you turn the cash in.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
And some guy like an hour ago today said, I did one yesterday. I did Act 1 and Act 4 in the same game, and said, okay, join my game, and you hit Tyrael in both acts, and you get 2 caches.
Yep.
And people were doing that today. Suddenly, all of a sudden, everyone was doing it. Some guy did all 5 of them just like an hour ago. XXYZ or whatever his name is.
Yeah, XXYZZY.
He's like, this took me an hour. Hope you guys enjoy this. You just get 5 caches all at once. I think you should get a bonus cache for that or something like that.
I would.
Frankly, you should get a bonus cache just for doing Act 5, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Act 5 is horrible.
I mean, if you do, it should have like 2 legendaries in it or something, and that act's just a nightmare.
Yep.
Well,
but I mean, I think that'd be cool if people had a bonus. You get 3 extra caches if you do all 5 in the game or something like that.
If they did something like that, I would definitely be all about it. But if you read what they posted, they said we're getting 20 new bounties in Act 2, 4, and 5. They didn't say anything about Act 1. Does anybody really?
Well, Act 1 is perfect now. Why would you want to change it?
Does anybody? Yeah, I love doing Queen RNA every single time. That cave is amazing. But does anybody actually do the other acts? I mean, honestly.
They said exploration is coming everywhere,
Pride's
right?
Fall, that's about it. Sorry, go ahead, Wolfpaq.
They said exploration is coming everywhere, right?
I don't remember. I didn't read the fine print.
I thought exploration was coming everywhere, but it was just, yeah, you're right, Act 2, 4,
Yeah,
and
no,
5
they said you'll
bounties.
see 14 bounties of this type across all acts in the game, but the other ones are only getting new bounties, is Act 2, 4, and 5.
Well, they say, if you're a fan of Adventure Mode, you'll be happy to hear you'll have 20 new bounties in Acts 2, 4, and 5. I guess they've just, figured out ways to make existing events bounties. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff you never see as bounties, right? So, where it seemed like Act 1 was kind of like fully monetized, like almost every quest or event could be a bounty. However, the Blue update also says we are also introducing a brand new type of bounty to the game, exploration. As the name implies, these brand new bounties involve exploring an area and finding people who need to be rescued, if they're good guys, or slain if they're not. You'll see 14 bounties of this type across all acts in the game. Is that what we have already, though? I mean, we have exploration bounties. It's kill the purple guy, plus 75 of his friends.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we already have them.
But why is it a brand new type of bounty? And we already have that kind. I don't know what.
Unless you have to explore the entire map. Like you have to clear make the entire map visible. I don't know what they mean by that.
It sounds like it's a bonus for Chrome's belt, personally. But
yeah, there must be something, because you're right. Otherwise, how would it be different than what we have already?
Just run really fast and get a bonus for it.
Yeah.
And we've had that forever. People saying, the whole thing, should you get a special bonus for finishing an entire Nephilim Rift? I mean, you just got into the Guardian and exit the game, If you get to that final altar, you should get an extra Guardian or something. But we've been saying that since Adventure Mode began. People were saying that in the beta of Adventure Mode, it's never happened. So.
Yeah.
The technology
I've
is
asked
not
those
there
guys
yet.
about that, and they all just say, we like rifts for the end game. It's like, well, there you go, then.
Yeah, well, they even said that and didn't they say that in the tavern talk? They want to make bounties more rewarding for people early game, and then have rifts continue to be the end game experience, or something along those lines.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, one last thing on Season 3 preview. New types of goblins. 3 new goblins that look kind of sexy. A gelatinous sire, which splits into smaller goblins. They don't say how many. The gilded baron helps satisfy your never-ending greed for gold. And the insufferable miscreant has chinchillas as his evil minions. That's roughly what it says, anyway. So were you thinking, if only there were more goblins in the game, I would be happy then? Or are you like, I have enough goblins now?
I'm sad.
I love the new goblins. I mean, I absolutely love them. There's nothing more exciting than finding a blood thief or a malevolent tormentor in a rift, as far as I'm concerned.
The blood thief is the number one, and the new goblins are going to distort my chances of having a blood thief, so I'm upset about it.
That was my first thought on the notes. Am I going to get 50% fewer blood thieves now?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other one is
the big one will split. Maybe the gelatinous will split into multiple blood thieves, though.
The gold one.
Badass.
I don't see as important. Does anybody really have gold issues anymore?
Until you're in T6, you do, yes. Currently, I have 80 million in climbing, so I don't care. But I mean, until I was in T6, I was having to put on the Boon of the Hoarder every now and then. Yeah, but otherwise, I couldn't afford to upgrade gems.
I mean, you get the Boon of the Hoarder early, and you're not upgrading gems anyway, so you might as well run around. I mean, I felt like I had 100 million gold, but quick as all get out.
I didn't. How about you, Wolfpaq? Were you rich?
I never had gold problems. My limiting factor for re-rolling was always something else.
Yeah, the mats usually.
Yeah, usually the legendary mat would run out. Also, though, I got really lucky with the vault early.
Yeah, I've never seen a vault in Season 3, Season 2 yet. So.
Yeah, I haven't seen a vault either.
I've seen 3 vaults, 2 of them in
I need to start grouping with Wolfpaq. That's all there is to it.
Well, he's got his group already. I don't know if you're allowed in.
No, they totally are. I don't. These are just guys I play with occasionally.
Yeah, they're just friends you play with. You'll kick them out any minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, F them, right? They've led you to the top. Now you can discard them and walk over their broken corpses to greater glory.
That's right.
Like my first wife. So, yeah, I don't see that we need another goblin that has more gold, personally, but I guess we'll find out about it. One other thing before we get to our gripes and torments. You guys have been doing a lot of multiplayer stuff. Do you have a favorite and a least favorite class to party with? Wolfpaq.
Let's see, a favorite class to... I love partying with witch doctors because of Slam Dance, especially if they have a Star Metal, whatever, Kukri.
Star Metal Kukri. Yeah.
Kukri.
Yeah, that thing is so awesome.
And so what do they do to your... They give you attack speed? What is the benefit they bring to you? Or do they just say tank for you? You're a barbarian, so you don't need a tank.
No, they just...
Damage and attack speed.
They compensate... Well, my buddy's been playing the Summoner... So he's got like 1 million fetishes out, and he's got physical damage and fetish damage, and so he's really, really not good against area damage, but I do really good area damage, and then he's fantastic at single target damage. So, and that's further amplified by the 30% damage boost, attack speed boost that he gives out. He can have them up so many times, it's just outrageous, and plus, since we're killing things so fast, he can cast his piranhas more quickly, which is another damage amplification, and it also groups enemies, which makes it easier to charge them, and it's just a fantastic... I love witch doctors. I would party with them all day if I could.
And do you have a least favorite?
A least favorite? No, not really. Anything that's not a witch doctor should be. If we
Witch doctors, yes. Everything else, no.
yeah.
How about you, Muggs?
I'm gonna have to say witch doctors, like for all the same reasons that Wolfpaq said, because slam dance is amazing. It's a huge damage increase. It's a attack speed increase. It's everything that you want. I mean, witch doctors are just all around, like just friendly build, with piranhas and everything else. Second would probably be a pull monk. I love grouping with pull monks that just sit there and pull everything nice and in a tight little ball for you and let you just blow them up really easy.
You like that pulling and palming, huh?
Yes, pulling and palming. I mean, especially you get a
Always
couple
in one.
monks and they're all like throwing exploding palm with the new Gundo gears. It's like the entire screen just blows up in a matter of seconds. So
And you've been playing which class? You're playing a monk only, so.
yeah, well, I've always played monks. So now,
Would it? I mean, obviously it matters somewhat. Like if you're playing an artillery class, you might like a tank so much, but you're not playing. You're both playing tanks basically, so.
yeah, but I mean, with a pull monk, and even witch doctors, their fetish is tank for you. I mean, the more things on the screen, it's the more things for the mobs to hit, the less likely you are to get hit. And I mean, even I'm not technically a tank. I still don't want to get beat on. I take a lot less damage in a group than I do in a.
Well, if you're Tempest rushing, you're certainly not a tank. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Do you have a least favorite?
I don't know. It's really hard to say. I mean, they all do damage now, so I don't really have a least favorite to gear. I mean, maybe Barbs, maybe. To really
That's just Wolfpack though.
Yeah.
You don't like him.
But I mean, they still have the best buff. The buff in the game. I love the shout that they give. Because it buffs you all. Your armor, which is great, and that buffs your all resist. But other than that, I mean, the classes now are just so amazing. You get 4 people in a group, and they just know how to play, and you'll just have a good time, and you just kind of make it work with the 4 people, and you just play to your strengths.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think that's.
I was.
Go ahead, Wolfpack.
I was just going to say that I'm not sure about this, but I was playing with a wizard recently, and he was filling the screen with fire things, but it didn't appear to be doing that much damage, and it was just making me lag. And so, I guess maybe not wizards that use the fire twister skill, maybe.
You're still my thunder here, dude. But for my least favorite class to play with. But one of the things I was going to comment that I notice a lot of forum posts and stuff. People who I think, as you just said, it's nice when you have 4 people who know how to play, which is kind of what you get in a hardcore clan when you're in T6, right? Because people who don't know how to play don't end up in T6 and hardcore, at least not for long,
No,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I see all these forum posts, and it's like, from softcore people, and it's like I get in T6 games, and there's like 3 guys there in like Kane set and rares, and they're like, can give EXP PLZ, and I think people just get to T6, and you just hope that some strong guy will just power you through, and you just want to leech off their stuff. Which is fair enough. I mean, that's how you get leveled up quickly, right? But I think that we're kind of spoiled in our first world problems here, being in a hardcore clan. Whereas if you're doing public games and softcore, it's like I hate everyone and I want them all to die. And generally they do, but of course they get right back up again. So
Yeah, I did see a couple like that in this season in hardcore. I saw in Torment 4 someone who was Paragon level 17 with a shield. It was not pleasant. But that was one game out of all the public games I've been doing, which has been quite a few. So it's not common.
I don't see it in
exactly.
T6. I don't see anybody that's not geared in T6 in hardcore because of the
And you'll get
reasons
people
why you
who
said.
aren't people who might need some carry. I was playing with a guy. I had a game earlier today where I had a mega pack of goblins in T6 in a rift, and I managed to not activate them, and I cleared the rift out and got the guardian. And I said, hey, he wants to join in. And I got 3 people immediately, and one guy was like P40 or 50 with a Crusader, and he obviously wasn't that much geared yet, but he was able to do that. And then afterwards, he stayed in the game. I did a couple of rifts, and he went up like 12 Paragon levels in in 2 rifts, just for the Guardian. While I was basically, he was just running behind me. I was just carrying it completely. But obviously, he was in T6 on a special occasion. He wasn't just waiting around in games hoping people would help him out. He just seized the opportunity to get like every legendary plan at once, basically, from the massive goblins pack we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because like you said, it doesn't happen very. You can only do it so much before you're going to die, and then you're going to have to restart over anyway.
Yeah, and beg for CCP PLs. So, as you mentioned a second ago, Wolfpack, I was playing in a game a couple days ago, T6 Rifts, with 3 wizards, and 2 of them were doing. Wizards are a really good solo class. I mean, because once you have the Firebird set, it has this massive DOT, and most people use it with efficacious toxin.
Yeah.
and you just kind of drop these meteors that cover the entire screen, meteor storm or whatever it is, and basically every single thing gets hit, and you just run on.
Blizzard.
And
Yeah.
they all
Blizzard
die after
usually,
7 seconds,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, Blizzard.
Which is great when you're solo, but when you're playing with other people, it's just sort of really annoying because there's just like crap everywhere, and you can't see stuff, and they're leaving these big trails of fire everywhere, look like moltens all the time, and you can't tell the difference very easily.
Yeah.
And I was playing with my Demon Hunter, and I'm using the Pride's Fall Helm, which is what you use with a cold build, and that reduces the cost of your hatred spenders by, I think, 25 to 30% anytime you don't get hit for 5 seconds or longer.
Right.
Which is great when you're solo or you're playing with tanks, because you can kind of stay in the back or keep a distance. When you're playing with DOT wizards who run through and leave every single monster at half health,
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, this is bullshit. I am never, ever getting my Pride's Fall buff up here. Because there's just, there's wounded, bleeding trash mobs just littering the screen. Like my first honeymoon. I mean, you just can't get away from this shit. And there's no, it just really doesn't. That would be fine if I were a barbarian or a monk or something. I wouldn't even care, But just with my particular Demon Hunter and this helm that I'm using, it was just like neutering me. Because, you kind of kill and go, and I'll often leave things mostly dying and just run through them with smokescreen, knowing they'll die behind me. But the whole point is to not get hit, because then I get a lot more offensive capacity without, my resource running out.
Yeah. So
wizards suck, and no one should play them anymore. That's the moral of the story here, until I do, in which case they're good.
Wizards are probably one of the best hardcore ones to play anyway, because they get two cheap death passives.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got some insane stacking now, and they're using the new Molten Wildebeest also. I mean, people are getting 60, 70 million toughness, and you've got 400% damage and shit. I mean, hit points. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I would kill for
They're
Molten
like
Wildebeest.
super safe now.
Yeah, they really are. They're pushing beyond. In hardcore, they're probably the safest class to push really high griffs easily.
And speaking of the safest class, how about the unsafest class? We've had a Monk-pocalypse the last few days in the clan. Like when Pai Mei became inconsolable in Kill Bill, there are just dead monks everywhere. And I haven't played one yet. And you said you've had a monk death, and it was from lag.
Yeah,
which of course is how all my deaths are from. It's always lag. You too, huh, Wolfpaq?
Yeah.
Goddamn lag, man.
Yep.
Right when that molten vortex lagged me again. Shit, I hate when that happens. So seriously though, what's up with all the monk deaths? Is it because people who don't know how to play monk are playing it because Gungdo gear looks awesome now, or they've heard the class is buffed, or has it just been coincidence? Have you seen any dead monks? Obviously, we have an expert witness here, but we'll have him go second. Have you seen dead monks, Wolfpaq? Do you have an idea what's going on here?
No, I haven't. I've only seen one person die this season, and it was my buddy, and he was standing in a molten explosion. And
when he lagged out, you mean, right?
When he lagged out, sure.
Yeah, his wireless mouse went out, and the next thing you knew, it was all over.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of deaths.
But you've seen the notifications in Clan, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I've seen those, but
And it's been mostly monks, right? I mean, at least half of them have been monks.
I've seen a pretty even distribution. Didn't what's his name lose his? I thought someone lost his wizard actually, but
I've seen all of them, but I've seen a lot of monks at least.
We had one guy in the clan that has literally probably lost 7 or 8 barbarians since the beginning of the season.
Oh really?
So, yeah, KJ something.
They should give him some lessons there.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Hope he'll listen to the podcast and hear about that whole free unity from the ancients thing. He's like, God damn it! If only I'd known. It sounds like me in Diablo 3 Vanilla with Demon Hunters. I was looking at my hall of fallen heroes the other day, and I have like 9 Demon Hunters in there, all level 60s or 58s or something. It's like back before you had a death cheating passive for Demon Hunters, it was a tough way to go.
Oh yeah.
So Muggs, you've been doing a monk. What's up with all the monk deaths? Have you noticed a higher number of monk rips, or is it just me, or what?
Well, there's a lot. There's a higher number of people. At least in the beginning, there was a lot more people playing monks. Versus their comfort class, so everyone's like, oh, check this out. I've been watching the streams. I've been doing whatever. Monks are supposed to be the next greatest thing. And, so they kind of left their comfort class, whatever that was, and they decided to play a monk. But they're not, I've noticed, at least playing with a lot of them, monks are a very twitch class, for lack of a better word. Like, you have to be on your dashing strikes, you have to be on your epiphanies, you have to be on your serenities, you really got to push it or you're going to get taken out. And I don't think people are ready for that, and so they're dying a lot.
Do you think a near-death experience is less useful? Because there was a whole debate going on just a few hours ago in the clan chat about that. People are saying I really don't think NDE is a lifesaver the way that other
NDE is
classes
garbage.
lifesavers are.
I will come out and flat out say I've been playing a monk in hardcore since vanilla D3. NDE, of all the cheat death passives that are out there. Now people will tell you if it saves you once, it saves you, forever. It's worth it. Of all the cheat death passives out there, NDE is garbage. I don't run it. I've never run it. I mean, I've run it before. I've lost 4 monks live, and probably another 3 or 4 on PTRs, testing stuff with NDE, where I came to realize it's just not worth running. I'd rather just have a regular passive that allows me to do more and stay alive and just be a little more active in what I'm doing. So yeah, no, NDE is garbage.
So, I mean, how is you think it's less effective than the other the other passives?
Well, say for instance, here I'll take the 2 best ones out there right now.
So just before you do that, so if you die with a monk, it restores you to 35% of your maximum life and refills your spirit, right?
Right.
And it's 60 seconds.
No, it gives you 35 spirit.
35% of your spirit.
Yeah, whatever it is. But the problem is there's the damage where you're gonna die is so high that it can proc. It doesn't like proc in like where even like unstable anomaly procs and like blows the mobs away, or the Crusader passive, when it procs you get 5 seconds of immunity, or the Witch Doctor passive, when it procs you go into Spirit Vessel and you can run away. This will proc, and if you're continuing to take damage, you'll just die anyway. So it's like getting 35% extra life and then you just die. So, or if you take so much damage, it'll overkill. Like when they talk about, doing too low of rifts and you're overkilling the mobs. Like mobs can actually overkill you with an NDE. I've had it happen. So it doesn't save.
So the Demon Hunter's awareness one, it gives you 2 seconds of smokescreen basically and a little bit of hit points back. And you have 2 seconds you can run to safety or at least get out of the immediate chaos unless you're wallered in or something like that. And Monk doesn't do anything like that. It just instantly puts you back to 35% of health.
Right. It'll proc and you'll get hit again.
It doesn't give you a 2-second safety zone or cast of serenity or anything.
No, it's a little bit better if you're running like the Gem of Esoteric Alteration, which when you drop below 50% health, like increases your resist by 75%. If you're running that, it's a little bit better than it used to be, but I mean, I've had it happen. Or if the damage is staggered, say like there's a molten explosion and that molten explosion kills you and the other one didn't go off at the exact same time and it's like a half a second later, that second molten explosion will kill you anyway.
Well, I'd like to point out that the wizard cheat death is equally ineffective against molten explosions.
Yeah.
To the monk one. And similarly, there's a lot of monsters who can't be knocked back who are extremely dangerous, so I'd argue that the wizard one is equally ineffective. The one time it procced last season, I needed the Firebird to save me because it was worthless for me.
Well, yeah, wizards get 2 of them now. You get Unstable Anomaly and the Firebird passive.
Yeah,
so.
The Firebird one is fantastic, but the Unstable Anomaly is garbage.
Well, the Unstable Anomaly is like the warning one that, hey, you're going to have to worry about the Firebird one coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, but also the Firebird one has a 5-minute cooldown as opposed to...
Yeah,
but again,
at that point, you're like, okay, I'm going to stop now.
Yeah. It's a warning debuff on your screen.
You're like, maybe you should relax. I've run with a couple wizards, and like you'll see UA pop, and like they'll just port back to town. They're like, okay, I'm going to chill out for a little bit,
or just leave and re-enter the game.
Time to make some gems.
Yeah, NDE is terrible. I mean, I know there's people that, I always say at the end of all my statements when we were having this discussion in clan that your mileage may vary, and, I don't want to be responsible for like, you're deciding to run without NDE and you're going to die anyway. And then you're going to blame me, but I don't run it, and I've never run it. So, or I shouldn't say I haven't run it. Once I decided that it was worthless, I haven't run it probably in the last like 4 or 5 months that I've had.
I mean, I might not be the strong, except for the last 4 or 5 monks that I've died by not having this passive. It sucks.
But you can't say that. It's like I would rather have.
Well, I could say they're dead.
Well, yeah, they're going to die anyway. I mean, in hardcore, it's not when it's not if you're going to die. It's when you're going to die. I mean, that's why I play hardcore. I always try to push it. I always try to. That's when I get excited. When I did my G32 without double unity in hardcore, I'm like this. I was nervous and I was scared, and I was having a good time and my adrenaline was going. But that's why I play.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with the disheating passives. I mean, you're giving up a regular passive, which might be something that was, that would improve you 20% of the time. That would give you like a 20% improvement always, forever.
Right.
Instead of using something that you need it once a game, maybe ever, and it might not work anyway. But if it does, You know,
Right.
there's obviously a pretty
There's
there's
that
pretty big death
argument.
penalty
If it
there.
saves you one time, it was worth having the passive slot, and I agree with that argument. I would rather have inactive. You know, I'd rather have something that just keeps me alive all the time. You know.
I think the Witch Doctor one is fantastic because it gives you cooldown reduction on top of the
Yeah,
saving
that one's
you life.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could use that without the you even use that without the death part.
Yep.
You'd be like, I just want cooldown reduction.
Yep.
Well, and the
Those are-
Crusader
and-
one's really good too because when it procs, you have 5 seconds of immunity. So like you're like, oh shit, I procced. Let me walk out of here with my horse.
let me teleport back to town
Yeah.
untouched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, as we know, Blizzard loves the Crusader, so. So let's get to our last topic here: petty gripes and first world problems. I've got a bunch of these lined up, and I asked you guys to mention a couple. And you were mostly saying quality of life stuff, which is certainly we can debate that. I mean, obviously everybody wants auto pickup of materials and stuff, but I was looking for a little more quirkiness of things or whatever. But I will throw one out here, and you can agree or not, or then do your own. When I have two verbal notifications of one thing that I swear my Merc, he only says, "Oh, this will be a noble battler. I've always wanted to fight one of these," or whatever they say. When it's like 3 trash blue scavengers. Like, you know, you get like the Molten Vortex, you know, Arcane, Frozen, you know, 17 modifier one, and you're like, oh, in your highest greater riff, and he won't say a damn word. But like, I can just obliterate, I'll like 2-shot some trash mob, and he goes, I always wanted to fight one of those. I'm like, well, you still do, fucker, you didn't fight that one either. I swear they have those they have those things pegged to speak only when it never is the case, and never won't matter ever.
Well, at least they don't speak as much as they used to. God, they used to never shut up.
At least Tyrael finally got a square meal.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, my stomach.
So my related, they talk too much thing. I'm playing, you know, I've played 1 million hours of Demon Hunter so far, and whenever when you try to cast a sentry and it's not off cooldown yet, and she always says that would not be wise. It would be very wise. I just can't freaking do it. You know, if she's like, I don't have enough hatred for that or whatever, okay, great. But she always says that would not be wise or that would not be a good idea. Like, no, it would be an awesome idea. You just won't let me.
Yeah.
So I want her to stop saying that. I want her to say something that's more appropriate to it. I have sand in my vagina. That's fine, whatever. Say anything else, just not what you're saying.
That's
Okay,
definitely a first.
Wolfpaq, what do you hate and why should it be fixed?
I think that gambling for weapons is a little weak right now because there are
You think?
there are a lot of different kinds of weapons. I mean, I was going to say the auto pickup of mats, but you sort of wanted more specifics than that. That's my number one. Gems and mats, gems and crafting mats, that needs to be picked up automatically no matter what. It's or they need to stop spewing out 1 million of them at once. Like one of those things, or stack them automatically so that you only have to click once. But right now it's a little out of hand. But anyways, like you said, something more specific than that is gambling for weapons, because I'm using the exact same axe that I crafted on like day 2 of the season, and I've been using it for the past week, and I just gambling for weapons feels so ineffective because I can't choose what kind of weapon I want, because obviously I want a 2-handed mace. That's all I care about. I don't want a sword. I don't want an axe. I want a mace, but I can't choose mace. I have to stick with these blinding sands swords that I keep getting, and it's frustrating.
So you sound like you have a new axe to grind.
Yes.
Because
Because that's a common complaint that came up in the last Tavern Talk, and the Blizzard devs were like, "Screw you, we don't care."
Right.
And more specifically, they were like, "Well, we like it if it's a little more of a challenge to get the weapon you want, and we like it if you find something that you weren't really looking for. Maybe you'll start using that if it's got a cool legendary power. Like, oh, I'll try this on. I never thought about this, but here's a good roll on it. That kind of thing." And those are both weak explanations, and most people think they suck. But I guess I don't think anybody doesn't want specific weapon types. I mean, it's nice if you're playing like a Demon Hunter where you get nothing but bows and crossbows when you gamble.
Yeah.
Like you're not getting 2-handed swords or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's nice.
You know, but I mean, you get the melee classes, and it's like, you know, everyone else is screwed.
pole
But I
arm.
don't really care because I don't play those classes.
Freaking polearm.
You don't want a bovine bardish?
No.
Maybe next time. What do you go ahead, Muggs?
Well, there's 2 things. Well, there's actually 3 things in the game that you can't gamble for, and it drives me bonkers. I mean,
Your stupid follower weapon.
right, you can't gamble for a follower token, and you can't gamble for Ramalama Ding Dongs, the gifts, to make, your weapons good. And those, you have to run around. You can't gamble for potions either, but I could give a rat's ass about potions. And you have to run around and hope that, through the grace of Jay Wilson, that you get a gift or you get a follower token so you can use it. I was one of those people that got 2 unities in the first, 2 unities in the first, 2 unities in the first 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 2 unities in the fir 2 hours of playing at 70. I have yet to find a follower can't die token to let me push. I have an ancient furnace that's 4100 DPS, and I do not have a gift to put it on. It taunts me. It sits in my stash and like taunts me and just laughs at me and says, "You would like to use me."
But see,
But
wanting that gives you motivation to play, though, right?
right, but I mean, the whole point of gambling was, if you listen to them, is to be able to fill the void for items that haven't dropped for you. You know, oh, I really need whatever. I could maybe understand gifts. Okay, don't let us gamble gifts, but why can't I gamble for a follower token? Why am I always getting this stupid 50% cooldown reduction follower tokens? Because like people actually use their followers for their skills. You know, why is that even a token? Is a completely other story. But why can't I gamble for them? Why can't I just pick up miscellaneous? Why can't I have a miscellaneous gamble button? Be like, let me get a chance. You know,
Probably just never thought of it when they were making the gambling system. Now it's too late.
it drives me nuts.
It would be admitting error if they put it in now. So
I mean, it drives. I found probably a half a dozen follower tokens, and every single one of them are follower gains access to all skills, or follower gains 50% cooldown on skills. Which I don't know anybody that uses those ever.
well, you do until you find a cannot die one.
Yeah, it's just like
That's when you use it.
I just disenchant them the second I get them. And a gift, you know, it's like there's people in the clan. It's like, oh, I wish I could give you one of the 5 that I found who are, you know, identical Paragon level, or if not lower Paragon level to you, and you're just running around hoping that you're going to find one of these gifts so you can actually use it on a weapon. So,
Yeah, I'd trade you 6 for a Unity, but you know, trading doesn't work out that way.
I would give you a Unity for 6.
I would give you 5 of those other things. My Valor can only use 1 at a time. He could dual wield them.
So,
Okay, I have another purposeless and useless petty gripes and first world problems. Paragon points are too damn frequent early on. I mean, obviously they're nice to have, but that button pops up like twice per rift when you're first getting into the game, and it's kind of fun. Oh boy, I have another 0.1% of critical hit chance, right? But I mean, I'm up to I think I'm at like P240 now or something, or P250, and it's still just constant. Once you're doing T6 quickly, you know, you're doing Greater Rift 30 plus. It's like you're still getting like 2 per rift. And I would like it just to pop up like every 10 levels, or be able to turn off notifications. Of course, as we've learned, notifications must never be turned off in Diablo 3, because otherwise you won't know you have blood shards or materials or whatever. But that was driving me kind of crazy. It's just so constant. I mentioned earlier that I had that game with I had the mega pack of goblins, and some guy joined in, and he played with me for 2 rifts. And they were just 2 rifts to the Guardian, and he went from 59 to 68 or something like that in 12 minutes. It's like, yeah, obviously he's just walking behind me, nothing else to do but, click on his Paragon points. But it seems how crazy. Until you're like P400, you're constantly just getting bombarded by those. And that is the ultimate humble brag / first world problem, I realize. And yet it still exists. Vaguely related thing. If you're doing lower, greater rifts just to buff your lower gems, like I just did a bunch of 16s and 19s earlier today to get up some other gems I wasn't using full time, you can get 4 pylons at once. It's just insane how tight together those go. I don't want this fixed, obviously, because it's nice on higher rifts, but if you're just rushing through one, you get a conduit and a speed pylon 5 seconds apart.
Yeah.
You can clear 75% of the rift in 15 seconds. It's just awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But it's amazing how close together pylons are when you're really going fast. You can get to new ones every 20 seconds or so, and they last 30 seconds, except for, conduit's a little shorter. I guess speed is 60 seconds now.
yeah, speed lasts forever. Conduit lasts nothing in greater rifts now. It's almost to the
but
point where I don't even know why it's there.
Well, it's awesome if you that 15 seconds of joy, like my first honeymoon. But I mean, you get the infinite resource one is spectacular with the Demon Hunter. That's just like the greatest. That one's better than Conduit. I mean,
Yeah, no, I like that one. And the power
Demon Hunter.
pylon, the cooldown reduction in the power pylon.
Yeah, if you got some big spinner, that one's just insane. And power pylon is awesome too. I mean, you can just one-shot everything. Then I one-shotted a GR22 at GOM earlier. I had a power pylon, just waited for him to appear and just went pop. Oh, he's dead. I win. And then one other random thing: if you fail 3 straight times at a 60% legendary gem upgrade, they should drop a flawed emerald.
Oh, as a compensatory.
Like Charcy. What the hell's her name? Ormy?
Charcy?
No, the one in the rift, the glowing ghost lady.
Oh, I don't remember what her name.
Orsi? I don't even know. I've forgotten already.
Ursi?
Yeah, Ursi's it. She should drop a stack of gold or something. It's like when you get the one Act 1, find the alchemist brother quest.
Oh, I hate that one.
He drops a potion.
Yeah.
It's just a fuck with you.
Retarded.
It's just it's a total I'll pray for you, and he throws it out and leaves. I want when I fail 3 times at 60%, they should like drop a potion for me. Just like, F you.
You just saved his brother's life.
He gave you a potion,
Yeah,
man.
a crappy health potion.
You've only got 643 in a stack, and you've been using a legendary potion for the last 6 months. But hey, it's a potion, man.
Ridiculous.
Not even a blood shard, just a potion.
Have you played through the campaign recently?
Oh my God, no.
You get, I don't know when this changed. It could have been a long time ago, but I just noticed it. They give you rewards now, like when you complete things. So I'm like,
You get boots and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a blue weapon as I am rocking
Level
this
5.
ancient legendary axe. Well, I'll
You
consider
don't want your
that.
blue weapon?
I'll consider that blue weapon, but it's just funny.
Think it over, man.
They should probably turn that off for max level campaign moon, right? Because
Well, they know
I
you
mean,
want
it's good if you're
crafting
level
mats.
7, but well, that stuff's good if you're low levels because they can plan the game better that way. Like at this point you will need this item. If you haven't found one, we're just going to give you one. Make sure you have it.
yeah, I can see it for low
The
levels.
whole well, you can't pick up blood shards forever kind of thing. Just when they want to hit you over the head with it, so to speak.
I just thought it was amusing. I was running through the other day for grins. Oh no, it was when I was trying to get the at level 65 we were getting the guaranteed legendary, and we were like rocking level 61 items. We kept getting these blues. We're just like, what are we gonna do with it?
But it's awesome that you can make a thing with it.
I'd also like to say that going to one of your points earlier about constantly getting Paragon points. Leveling up is going much faster this season, and I appreciate that.
It's just because you're Roxor, dude.
No, I'm
pretty sure it's because you're Roxor.
I was reading a post about this. I think that bonus XP on your gear is now multiplied by the torment level you're in.
No, the
Yeah,
griffs.
they
It's the
changed
griff
that in the
change.
patch, yeah.
I
No.
thought it was the griff change.
No, there is also there's that other thing which is so I'm talking about like flat plus 100 XP per kill.
Oh, right.
That gets multiplied by the 1600% for being in Torment 6, and then you're also right about the Greater Rift change that lets you wear a Leoric's signet.
I mean, if you look at the softcore streams, there's people in P600 already.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome because I mean it's okay.
From Greater Rifts.
Yeah, definitely. But it's also a kind of a noticeable difference, because instead of getting plus 100 per kill, I'm getting plus 3,000 per kill, which is still not amazing. But when you're killing hundreds of things per minute, that adds up pretty quick.
I actually think it's kind of I like it because I really feel like P400 is the point where the game, the paragons really start to matter. You can max out 2 things, and especially in hardcore, maxing out 2 defensive stats is huge. That's like the difference between 20 million toughness and 28 million toughness or whatever it happens to be. So I mean, I'm glad that I'm getting a ton. I'm actually okay with it.
That's a good problem to have, I think.
I just wish it wouldn't pop up so often. I would be happy with just a little glowing icon on my toolbar, and every 10 points I could just assign them. Because one more point makes no difference, really. I mean, you're not going to notice one more point here or there. Famous last words, right? But I mean, I usually just I'll just hit PP. I'll hit the P key twice, so it'll open and close again. Because I just don't want to have that little icon glowing at me when I'm in the middle of a rift. And I go back to town, I'll do 5 at a time or something.
I run a monk, so all my buffs cover that thing, so I don't even see it. That's one of my quality of life things. Can I please see more than 7 active buffs? Or if I'm running Innas,
you got 4 auras at all times.
If I'm running Innas and I have 4 auras, can't they just make one square with a bit of each aura in one square, so it only takes up 1 spot instead of all 4 spots because you only get 7? So I'll be running stuff and I'll be like, what pylon did we just pick up? I have no idea. Why? Because I can't see it.
Yeah, if you don't see the text, you never know. Am I running really fast? No. Are there yellow sparks coming out of me? No. I don't know what it is then.
Well, it's did I get, should I pop my Epiphany? Did I just get the cooldown one? Or do I have the P400 one? Or did I get, the shield, Those are, the 3 that I'm worried about. Is it okay to stand in the Molten?
I think that's half world problems. We've gone beyond first world problems. You're 0.1% world problems. I have so many awesome buffs at once, I don't know which one I'm using.
Yeah.
I level up so fast I can't spend all the points. Yeah. How do I hold all these limes? So one other random thing. How come? I mean, this has come up a million times. This is I'm the last person to make this joke. But can we get the Fortune Shrine to do something different?
I said that in Clan. What does it do?
15% magic find, dude.
What does that do?
I'm sorry, 25%. I don't understand.
It spawns a elite.
It should pop a Treasure Goblin, really. I mean, that's the people thing I've heard many say.
But I mean, what does it do? What is 20? Is it like an actual? Is it the old 25% where we're only getting 3% of that or whatever towards
I
legend?
think Magic Find still is just 10% of what it says.
Or yeah, or
I mean, there's I put Nagel rings on my Mercs, even though I don't know if it does anything. It's like 40 to 50% Magic Find, right? And I always put a Nagel ring and a Leorix Signet on my Mercs. Just why not, right? Mainly because they can't wear 2 Nagel rings. I guess I put a Hellfire ring on them too, just get 9% more or whatever. But I haven't made one of those because I didn't make Hellfire Amulet because they're just so awesome. But I kind of wish you could go down to 60 and farm the old Hellfire Amulets. I have a bunch of those in when the last season ended. I forgot I had them, and those are awesome. The old level 60 Hellfire rings. I mean, they're useless, but it's a free 35% experience.
Oh yeah.
And you put it on your Merc, and you can only get a fifth of that, but it's 7% for free, and you can make them in like a second. There's only 3 pieces, so. Whereas the current one, like, you take so long to farm it, and then you make it, you're like, I gotta try for an amulet, because an amulet could be like build changing.
Oh, you know what? That's a quality of life thing. The key should be guaranteed drop in T6.
or a higher percentage.
Better than half percent.
Yeah, better
Yeah.
than half. Here's
Yeah.
a quality of life one. Gems. Why does it take me so long to make gems? Why? Why do I have to sit there and like try to remember? Do I need 21 of these or do I need 7? Now I need to make 5 of these. Can I just like click and it says, okay, you have the mats, make these. And then go. If they wanted me to sit there for that long, just let me click the end process and say make these, and then I'm done.
Yeah, I really don't understand why in Diablo there's a need for a crafting time, like at all. Like you're just sitting there watching a bar fill. Seems very pointless.
Yeah, and I've had to
Like
do it twice now.
like on St. Patrick's Day.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
I mean if you could just say I need 27, Imperial gems made, craft, and instantly 27 of them appeared in your inventory, then you lost the mats. That's great, and I don't see why that's not what happens.
But I just want the end one. Like if I want the royal, I just the flawless royal. I'm like, okay, make the flawless royal.
Oh
And
no,
I don't want to have to go through the whole process of like
Yeah.
making 20, and then because math. But you have to remember, you're like, okay, I got to make 6 of these, and then I've got to make 2, and then I got to make 3 of these, and no, just let me make
Remember
it.
D3 Vanilla when there were like 17 levels of gyms and you had to like do them all manually the whole way up?
No, there was something called the
Like,
auction
you'd
house
like-
at the time, and you just went to the auction
need
house and went, I will buy these.
2,143 flawless squares to make a perfect one or whatever.
Yeah,
But you could actually go buy those for cheaper and then craft them yourself and then sell them for a profit.
I didn't care. I was lazy.
But you had to like sit there and you had to sit there and click the button, every 2 seconds for an hour and a half.
No, I was lazy. I would just buy them. I would just go in there and, okay, I buy them.
I just don't understand. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Muggs, with why can't you just click the. But even if they don't want to let you skip from a marquee into a, what is it, flawless royal or whatever, if it would be so much less painful if you just had no craft time. Like just say, okay, 27, okay, 9, okay, 3, okay, 1, and then. I mean, you're sort of teaching people how to do exponential multiples of 3, so that's cool, I guess. But
I've always got one left over in my stash I forgot about though. Then I make one too many.
Yeah,
yeah.
Then you've got
Just
10
sit there.
flawless whatever. So you're like, oh crap, and I got one left over.
Well, that's the beauty of hardcore, though. You know you're going to die eventually and use it at some point.
Well, I think there's some developer that spent like hours making that little graphic and making that cool ka-ching, ka-chunga sound, And he's like, but I worked hard on this, Jay. And Jay's like, but the fans don't like it. Sorry, Wyatt. Sorry, what's his face? Josh Mosh.
Well, yeah, I mean,
He's
it's
like,
Wyatt going to come out and say, it's really part of the tactile experience. We want you to feel like you're making the gems. Like when he talks about picking stuff up, we want you to feel that. You want
just be glad there's no Wii version of the game. You have to like actually pound a hammer yourself for like 5 minutes. The virtual hand job machine here. You just gotta. Yeah, God, it's not done yet.
Oh,
Now you're
that is a level of hell right there.
Well, you guys are both married, so you obviously have first-hand experience. So we filled our allotted time. Any final thoughts on it, guys? What are you planning for the next week? Just more grind. You have your Demon Hunter going. Which pack? Wolf Doctor.
Yeah,
Is that your plan? Demon
I'm
Hunter.
gonna have to talk to you about how to play Demon Hunter because I did find a what's that hand crossbow that adds a mark of death to the enemies.
Calamity.
And that's the first time I've ever had it, and it's like the oldest legendary in the game. So I'm really
You can get an ancient, did you? Just a regular?
no, just a regular one. But
Oh, thank God. I'd be pissed then. I've been trying to find one.
even though the DPS was lower than the ancient bow, I was using the ancient arc. What's that two-handed crossbow that barb, arcane barb.
Oh, the
maybe.
arcane
barb, yeah.
Yeah, I was using an ancient one of those, but I was like, okay, this is 20% damage boost for everyone in the game, so that's probably worth using. So I'm using that right now. But
Yeah, and it's never not on. I mean, it procs so
oh
often.
yeah, it's all the time.
It's actually better than any of the forms of the skill by itself.
Yeah, because
It's the
it's
skill you have to keep recasting it constantly.
yeah, this is automatic.
The automatic is much. It's funny. It's much better form because usually when these, there's skills that proc another skill, and usually it's like the base form of it that kind of sucks.
Yeah,
Like Calamity is much better than having Marked for Death. I mean, you want that more than the actual
yeah,
skill itself.
yeah,
It's funny.
definitely. And so I don't know, but my damage feels just a little bit low, but it could be because my gear isn't optimized properly. Also, I just I looked up the guide for Cold Demon Hunter, which is what almost everyone on the leaderboard is running, and all of them are using the exact same gear. So I think the Reaper's wraps and the belt that makes you move fast that synergizes with the Pride's helm and of course 5-piece Marauders with the Pride's helm, and then the one thing I'm missing is the Bombardier's rucksack, but that's probably a huge part of my damage, right? That's why.
That's like mandatory once you get to the 6-piece, because then every additional century gives you a 100% damage buff. That makes a real difference going from 4-piece to 6-piece Marauders.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, we shouldn't fill into the podcast with Demon Hunter tutorial. Probably, I'll be happy to talk about that another time.
No, right now.
Right now, I can't edit the podcast. I can't edit out a moment of this gold, so it has to all be here perfectly. So what is your plan for the next week, Muggs, and where are you going?
I don't know. I'm just gonna I'm trying to finish up, get the gift, get the follower token. Hit G35 plus so I can get
Have
the
you planned
achievement.
out what your third monk is going to be doing?
What do you mean?
Or do we just wait? Well, because you're not using near-death experience, so obviously you're going to die soon.
Right.
So your third monk, are you going to do the same build or something different?
Well, I'm not doing the cookie cutter one that everyone's doing anyway, which is the Wave of Light, Pillars of Death build. I'm doing the Tempest Rush build. So I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. So
I've been considering doing a monk. I keep finding really good lightning gear. I've got a fantastic lightning SOJ sitting in my stash, and I got multiple really good lightning amulets. And I've actually played the most monk. I mean, I mostly talk about Demon Hunter on the show because it's been all Demon Hunters lately. But my overall playtime is still has the most monk of anything, because I played so much monk in Diablo 3 Vanilla. And of course, my favorite build was lightning fists and dropping rocks on things. And now that's like the default build. That sucked for like a year, early Reaper of Souls, and now it's awesome again.
right, yeah.
So it'll call me back to it at some point, maybe, but I don't want to do the same. Of course, that was back when everyone used either dual wielding or you'd even use a weapon and a shield in hardcore.
Everybody
Before
had a
two-handed
shield
weapons
in
existed,
hardcore, yeah.
and now it's all two-handed weapons. So that's something that's wildly
No,
different anyway.
there's two one-handed. There's a couple builds that use two one-handers, actually.
Yeah,
But
I mean that was the mandatory for the first 2 years, and now it's people often want the the peak of whatever the stupid incense torch.
well, I
People
mean,
want that.
yeah, I mean, if you talk about way back in Vanilla and Monk, I didn't play my Monk in hardcore without a shield until the Scorn became popular, and then it changed. But yeah, I mean, my goal is to find a follower token, find a gift, push past G35, maybe get into G40, and then I don't know, see where it takes me from there.
Yeah, the follower token is such a random thing. As you said, you can't gamble for it. You just got to play and hope. It's like finding a gift. You just got to keep.
Yeah, it's just such a pain in the butt. I mean, it's like, I found follower tokens, and you keep getting trolled by the two other follower tokens that you'd never use, and you can't do anything with them. And it's just, you just play. You just play for the sake of playing. Let me hopefully, maybe I can find more ancient gear, which I guess is, for ancient armor is not that great of, you get a little bit better. But other than that, I just want to keep pushing.
Yeah, one last point I had come up today. I was wondering if people hear this a lot. A gift of Ramalani that worked on jewelry would be kind of ridiculously overpowered in some cases because you have such powerful offensive mods on jewelry already.
Yeah.
That you're trading off. But I mean, I just found this ancient amulet that I was flashing around the chat like a guy in a raincoat on a preschool, and it was I figured it's 10% crit chance, 19% fire damage, like 94% critical hit damage, and it's like 987 dex. It's an ancient. And obviously the one you roll off is the dex for the socket. But I mean, usually when you get an amulet, you're just trying to get like 2 or 3 good mods and figure one will be trash, and that's the one you're going to turn into a socket. Or if it's not a socket, if you roll a socket, you try to turn, you turn regen or something like that into your big stat. But it was just so weird to find an amulet where all 4 stats were really good. Where it's like, I just want to be able to add a socket to this. I don't want to turn something into a socket, but that is not an option. And if it was, it'd be insane. But
I would like
nice.
that. I mean, that would be something I wouldn't mind seeing in the future. Just raw
power creep, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You know, I mean, T6 is a joke for most class. Even in hardcore, you know, T6 is extremely easy. I'm clearing rifts in 6 minutes. You know, so it's what does it matter at that point?
Yeah, I actually have a little death timer that's for 5 minutes when I do rifts, and if I don't beat it, I feel bad. I can usually do them 5 minutes. That doesn't include all the time in between though to open and close a new rift. You know, that's a valuable 30 seconds there.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not worried. I mean, power creep is power creep. So, and they seem to be fine with T6 where it is. So it doesn't really matter. It just means more people are gonna be spending time in Griffs.
Okay, I have other topics. We're already gone long. So, any final words, Wolfpack?
No.
Moo.
Moo.
Listening to the Diablo 3 podcast. We are online at DiabloIncGamers.com. And the clan we're all in is full, and you can't join if you want to. So that's of no information to you. But you can look at us from the outside like a puppy in a pet store window. And thanks for listening. And moo.
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 Moo. Moo. Moo.
Jay Wilson,
Moo.
moo.
Moo.